Oh, I don't know.
This, we want them all to see this one.
Who took this?
Reb Gershon.
Who took that picture?
Okay, it's fine.
What did you do, Rabbi?
What did I do?
What did you do? I didn't ask you to do anything.
No.
I didn't ask anything.
You just want to say the Alpha used to say things.
Yeah?
The Alpha used to do things that should be criticized.
Yeah.
You just practice it.
No. What's the problem?
What have you done there on the phone? Which one's yours?
Nothing. I'm putting it on.
No, I put it on already.
Oh, it's on already? Okay. And then, well, you got to notify the Rebbe, you know. I didn't know I had such chashuv gabayin. They do everything for me. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. Look at this. There's a magnet over here. Look what's going on. A patent. Was macht ihr? Thank you so much. How are you? Morgen hat heute nur hey, du mal Olam, shahakel ni mit dvaray. Nehmt, trinkt, Rabbi sagt, trinkt. Yeshuot, Shebetוכם, Refuas. Man soll solche sein, kommen nun zum Eibischen. Vani kirvas elikim litai. I would like to be close to the Eibishter. That's my wish. My birthday present. That's my becoming present. I want to be close to you. Adkan. That's it. Mele b'tachon. Yeah, we'll get there. B'tachon. Look at this. He said, "Vani kirvas elikim litai." 3 hours before davening, 3 hours after that. That's what happens when you do that. Look what he looks like. This is in a DP camp. Am I on? I'm on. After he got to Zetz, you know what they did to him? I know he was in this room. The guy who made the Tyra. You know what was missing? All over the place. They knew his voice was not. I was machtir. That they knew. They knew he couldn't do Hagba. They knew there was something wrong with his heel, and something wrong with this, and something wrong with that. He didn't have kids. Couldn't care less. He's galactic. This Svari always had pain. Did he know anything? Oh, pain. Yeah, I forgot about that. You have a musik. By the way, this I will tell you. And I heard this from an Adriya he told me that, now, that's because he had a war against the way people think. That's where it comes from. Olam Haza is not, you think it's going to give you fun. Rabbi Miller was the Yachid who chapped that sugya just like him. Rabbi Miller made a chayzik of Olam. He knew how to do it. Anyway, but it doesn't work. It's a lie. The cover that you're getting, it's all a lie. The way people talk. Oh, you had a lot of people? Was it big Olam? Oh. This he's a competition with you. You're better than him. Oh, he's better than you. How many people you have? He made it in the Ated. The way they talk, they're all the same covered mode. Everybody's sick of the way people talk. The people in front, they're all the chasana. How was the chasana? How the chasana? Oh, you made a fool of yourself. You don't have a dance to save your life. Anyway, but gets in Novandik they asked, no, are you working on your cars? That's how's the kinna? You're still. Now listen to this mail. First, I want to thank Rabbi Yosef Yafi for his hard work. And I want to thank Torah Anytime and Kavish Kocha Protas and Coalition. I want to thank the Eibish. I want to thank him for being Zoich to be here to talk about him. To talk about the Eibish, to bring people. And I'm also Mama Zakint, or Myron Kreis used to say. I also want to get close. I need care. There's nothing worth anything. What's his name? Baruch Motcha Zrachi told me there's nothing in the world better than closest to Hashem. That's everything. Nothing except Kirvas Elikim Li Toiv. Get it. Anyway, now I'm going to tell you Marta Gemaisa. Lately they're calling me up. I have to. I got to be careful here and there. The last guy was in Venezuela 10 years ago. I need some more of those. Guys, New Zealand. You know, we have to protect. I am married to Gemaisa. The guy has been stressed since he's born. Very stressed. Some serious stuff going on in his family. Very stressed. He comes to me. He was in my office. Mandel, what do we do? I'm stressed. And because of that, he's never not capable of, he's dysfunctional. He stopped. He conked out for a long time already. Months and months. Can't function. You know what I told him? Lo yhoyu dvarim me'olam. I'm look at you. You're a normal guy. I know I have Ruach HaKodesh. You're perfect. There's nothing wrong with you. I see it, and I started bringing proofs. He is a sweet guy. He has a certain azay because living with, you know, that type of stuff in your head, that there's something wrong. So it makes you azay. And I kept brainwashing him. I don't remember what exactly I said. Within a week, he calls me back. He wants another dosage. What happened? Listen to this one. He said in his life, he never felt so good. The guy's, you know, he's not 30, but he's not a kid either. He never once in his life did he feel as good as after talking to me for those few minutes. And it went on a whole week. He was a different person. Because Mendel brainwashed him. You're misdiagnosed. It's a lie. You're living with of course you need medication, because they brainwash you, something's wrong. Your body listens to that garbage and goes along with it. You hope body's not going to be chaylik on the mind. Mind is balabus. Mind paskins, I'm sick. Body says, do halt the chaylik. Now, I says, but he needs another dosage. What happened? He went to a very big name, a big askin. I don't know if he's such a big name. An askin. I have no idea who it is. And he went to this fellow, and the guy told him his matzav and everything. And he says, and he told him what Mandel said. Is Mandel serious? You can't do that. You have to address. No, sir, that is irresponsibility. You must address your problem and see a therapist. And it's nothing. You can't do that. Mandel's out of it. He doesn't. I'm making up half of the stuff. But either way, it's fine. That's pretty much what happened. See, listen to this one. From the time he spoke to that fellow, zoop, back in the mode. He's stressed all over again. Now, here comes more. I asked him, listen to me. I asked him, is this guy helping you? If he is, go to him, keep away from me. Is he helping you? He said, no, I got much worse after talking to him. I says, tell me, have you seen therapists? He saw 6 of them. Did he help? This much. The only thing that ever helped so far is my dosage. Yeah, what's going on? I'll tell you another story. This is Shalom Bias case. I have about 3 of them that I gave 3, and I got more. They're all over the place. Don't trust my statistics. Always double it. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not because of another. It's because of lack of kicking in when good things happen. There's something in your mechanism that automatically disregards it. I'm serious. Yes, it's unfortunate. There's a kayach in a person that does not like to agree that things are good. They know there's a certain mochama. But it's always like set your clock, It's always too fast or you're not accurate because you're always looking to put yourself down. It's a matzias. I started tracking myself. It's nervoim what's going on. But anyway, in my mind, the only thing I remember is today's mifas. There's about 50 of them through the week. But today's, so I have 1 or 2. That's not so many. This is mamish the way, we're all like this. In my classroom, I had a great day. The last 5 minutes, something went a little, oh, there's no hope for me. People are like that. Everywhere. With relationships, with everything. Oh, you said that. So now listen to this one. This guy calls me up. He's got trouble with his wife. And it's very bad. He showed me how his wife texts him. He showed me everything. I didn't have to, sometimes you don't have to see the other party. They text, so you'll see, oh, now I know what you like. You're a meshuggah, I hate you. You know, she held her own. You know, she wasn't one of those pushovers, you know, as you can see by all the texts. She was vocal. The only thing is, I'm always skeptical. I never spoke to her. I'm so curious what she says about you. I don't say that to anybody, but you never really hear a full picture. By the way, I'm going to say something that's a scandal. There's an Ehrlicher therapist in Lakewood. I don't want to go into details. Privately, I'll tell you who it is. Very Ehrlicher person. Rather not that yeshivish, but very Ehrlich and very bottled, very humble, This person said, if there's one person talking to a therapist, it's a scandal. It's not right. It's a halacha. You can't see one without the other. I was once, now I know two stories. One I witnessed, one my friend witnessed, where two people were killing each other, cats and dogs, shalom bayis, or shalom this, or shalom that. And the guy spoke to 4 big people, not kids. And the other guy spoke to 4 different people. Now, I interviewed all 8 people. Every person that Mr. Olive spoke to loved him and hated Mr. Bays. I saw it with my own eyes. All the 4 people that spoke to Mr. Bays loved Mr. Bays and hated Mr. Olive. I saw this with my own eyes. I'm going to mention one name just to say a melitz for him. Rabbi Yosef Rosenblum was approached also by these people, and he was the only one that got up and said, Ich red nicht zu ein Mensch und der Zweite. It's halacha. You can't do that stuff. And you puzzle also, by the way. It's a scandal. I just want to mention that. It's okay. Anyway, I'm not here for this type of stuff. I hold everybody's gewaldig and everything's min hashamayim. And if they mess up, it's also min hashamayim. And if it's a scandal, it's also from the Eibishter. You don't get angry, never. You know what you do? You say gamzel l'tayva. Listen to this one. Listen to this one. Shimi ben Geda, when he cursed David, a friend of mine just had a Shimi ben Gera episode. He came crying to me. He had a real Shimi ben Gera Maisa. He was called Toyeva, Noyev, Reitzeach, Mamza. You know what Shimi ben Gera told David HaMelech? You know what Klal Nimretzes means? He called him every dirty name in the book, in public. This fellow got mamish such treatment. And he came coming to me, how do I deal with this guy? I says, first of all, you're not chayiv for your, and it bothered him that he was all like this. And I says, you're going to be a Gata Malach over here. You're not expecting, in Hilchos Shmiras HaLashon, Chavetz Chaim has a certain situation where you're not achroi for your gut reaction. What's that? Sister.
We do it right away.
It's not a tiny. It's not a tiny. Person's human. So first of all, the guy worked on it. Now he's a different world. You know what the guy does now? He kisses and hugs that guy who gave him a klolot imretzes. And anyway, he does it. And the guy, but listen to this one. The guy who gave him a klolot imretzes wasn't even like anything, because he didn't chop what he did. People, you think the guy, he doesn't chop. You know, people, mafat putei dvarim. People talk, they don't even know what they said. They didn't mean it. He's his best friend. You know, in the army, they had a guy. He was I think he was in the Navy. And he told the guy, blankety blank, son of a blankety blankety blank. And he says, swab the decks. What did I say over there? You have to wash the... And he barks at an older sailor tells the younger guy. And the young guy's looking in horror. He's mamish like... He can't talk to him. He's like ice bench. He goes to sleep that night. What did this guy call me? And the next day, he goes over to him, and he takes his fist, I'm gonna shove your nose down your throat. The guy looks at him, what's that all about? You know, I don't know what you're talking about. What you told me yesterday, blankety. That's how I talk to all my buddies. I was like that, but in the Navy, That's how they talk. There's people that don't be done, people of kafschus. They don't mean it. It's a very important thing. That's the way they talk. They all talk like that. I once had a mice of Shimshon Pincus, whatever. Somebody was clearing, they were dealing with the sweetest human being in the world. Who? I give up on you. You're a lost case. This is the way the guy talks. I don't know how he is today, but that's the way he used to talk, big time. Oh, what's going to be with you? And he screams at his kids and he screams at his wife. Oh, here goes the Michigan all over again. Shimshon Pincus was involved in a certain, and he laughed. He says, that's the way he talks. He's the biggest Mitsuyan in the world. You got to know people. It's a good thing to know. So much pain. You know where he's coming from. He's coming from a different environment. You know, Rabban Kreiser used to taina. And certain people, if they come from out of town, they do certain things, it's no taina. They all do that out of town. That's normal. And the in-towners, he's on the bad list. Whatever he's doing, something not so kafi. Or the out-of-towners, they look at us. He's one of those greasy guys who's not 100%, You don't understand the mentality. People don't understand each other's mentality. Anyway, here comes the guy with his wife. His wife was cursing him. There was no way. I hate you. I wish I would be married. Yeah, he showed me all the stuff. The thing that struck me was that why is he saving all that stuff? He had marachas. His wife was first class witch material. I mean, I never saw her, but the way her poison pen, was she good at it? And anyway, it wasn't pashut. It was very nasty. And I couldn't imagine him saying something nice about her. Usually, it's not pashut. You marry your other half. You know that? You know that? She talks like that? It's sitting in your neshama, the same garbage can. Except she brings it out to the open. You steam it in because it doesn't pass a chush of a guy like you. She's a yidana, so it comes out, and everyone hears, and she's Mr. Bad Guy, and you're the guy in the control. You're also all upset for no reason. You're not working on your cast. She's just a picture of what you really are. You ever have a magnifying glass? The same chefta, you got it. So don't get so upset when the people around you don't behave the way you want. So, but anyway, that was the matzav. Now he said, what can you do for me, Mendel? It's a true story. I says, I'm giving you one bracha. And say goodbye. So I was talking to the wall. Because he wasn't shaykh too. I was talking to the wall. And I gave him one bracha for Shalom Bayis. The next day, he calls me back. My wife said, what got into you? He showed me a text. Gatsanaya Nosach. She spoke warm. She spoke nice. She spoke, and he, something got into him. He started washing the dishes. He said, I don't know why I did that. And suddenly my wife did this, but I promise you a true story. How long did it last? It lasted about a week until they went to the therapist. From that day on, it's over. I'm talking to the wall. The therapist opened the can of worms, and there we are, back to square one. It's a true story. I have 2 cases, one in Israel, one in America, where they hated each other, senas mavas, and I gave a bracha, shalom bayis, and it's done. No more shalom bayis issues. Now listen to this one. This guy calls me up. This guy lives in Sioux City, Iowa. You ever hear that? That's where he lives. Sioux City, Iowa. There's a new title over there. He lives in Sioux City, Iowa. He's a good guy. He tells me he likes Iowa Grada. It's a nice place. This slight, you don't have to slight, changes to protect, but basically that's the story. Anyway, this guy, listen to this. Calls me up. Now, I don't want to say his wife is she is here. I think they're in 2 houses at this point. He's already, he says we're holding atat, it's already for 6 years, we're not on speaking terms. One of those, the real heavy stuff. And it's had enough. Listen to this. I says, tell me, how is your, shevavim? You're a little bit concerned about, kedusha zach. No. It's okay. Once in a while, I'm fine. I was mamish impressed because I had gotten the last 3 days, I must have gotten 10 phone calls with kedusha, nabuch, happily married people, but all kedusha, every trouble here, trouble there, bachrim, kedusha. And him, I says, wow. I told him, it's such a pleasure talking to you. I finally, it's the guy's like, wow, and you have no problems at all, despite, no problem. She says, okay, but now let's work on Amidus over here. Obviously, he keeps telling me, when she does this, I hate it. When she says that, I can't stand it. The way she talks, boom. And then she blames me. He's got a whole shtick Torah proving that she's terrible and she doesn't like it. I said, okay, look, I'll give you a course in controlling your kas. A 30-day course, you'll conquer it. You probably had it from way back. It comes from Dairis. No one ever addressed it. They had other things in there going on. They had to fight for Yiddishkeit, whatever. They had to fight for other stuff. Came Yigezman, and the main thing is the main thing is work on your midas. I'll help you. And I spent a half an hour talking myself blue in the face. How more important it is to take care of your own midas than all the marriages. Take care of your midas. Let's say a guy, my friends were double lunches. So that's how I was in the hospital once. And he saw the guy next to him. He had the most beautiful family you could ever imagine. They came with love. A sister and a wife and a sister and a brother and an uncle. They loved this guy. He sat there on top of the world. It was a very good family situation. And you can see he was impressed. And then suddenly somebody forgot to put some butter on on his bread or whatever. Something went a mashu off what he's used to. He exploded. He went berserk. He went out of his mind. And Reb David said, where's the beautiful family? What beautiful? How can you do that? So you see, you can have the best matzav in the world. If you're not working on your midas, what is it worth? You could have everyone loving you. You got to work on your midas. You're going to vet. Anyway. So this guy, I was talking to the wall after speaking myself blue in the face, and I did a good job, one of my best. I said, this guy's my man. We're going to work on us. It's not the gay. Just change my life. Be my wife. Just leave me alone. Change my wife. It is? I says, okay, here comes the buha. He calls me up 24 hours later. My wife's a different person. I didn't like that one. I just understood this guy can't be, he can't work on it. So give him a buha. That's why I do a lot of these lately. Just give them buzz. Yeah, you can't. That's all. Don't work. Reb Gershon, once a whole bunch of ladies came to see him. A whole chasana of women. It wasn't a chasana, unfortunately. More like a Levi. I saw this myself in America. A bunch of older girls, packs of them. Where you guys come from? I was the gabbai by Reb Gershon. And they came from a hole and they were crying. They never, whatever they're going through. The story goes, it was in France when they came and he was in bed, something, they came in there and he jumped out of bed. And first of all, I can't imagine Reb Gershon sleeping. Two people, I can't imagine them sleeping. I don't think it ever happened. Whatever the show they're putting on, and I'm serious, Rabbi Kreiser, you ever see Rabbi Kreiser sit and learn the deal? He used to learn day and night. An older man, he was so alive. Rabbi Yeshua saying, but that story goes, he jumped out of bed, and the ladies all come for brachas. And Rabbi Yeshua says, no bracha business. Atem yecholot be'tfilah. And the Vada Geshita is, you work. You know what they did in Slonim? When a guy came for a Yeshua, Slonim or Chashvav Stephen, Brian Kreiser held from them. They used to come in, they take a guy in, the Rebbe says, bring him in with his bed, no brachas. Bring him in with his bed. They brought him in the Rebbe's. The guy could barely move. He says, now say, Semech Neiflim, Semech Neiflim, Raifei Chaylim, say it again. Rav Beicholim, Nachamal, Rav Beicholim, for half an hour. The Rebbe Harvard with the Chassid. Rav Beicholim, David, you can do anything. Come on, say it again. A half hour later, the guy jumped out of his bed, lived happily ever after. The Rebbes used to encourage you to work. In these type of chassidus, no, Grada, I'll tell you, my maser is from my Rebbe. If you really have a tzarech, you're supposed to work. I worked plenty with my stuff. I could spend hours and getting yeshuas that are l'malam and atab. I had plenty of that. But you have to be ready to give away some learning and whatever. But the rabbis told me, if you really have a tzarech, do everything and anything. Vada rabbanim, get brachas. I have maises. I used to have names. I still have a few left of big guns in Eretz Yisrael. Big names. I used to have a square Rebbe's Gaba. I think I still have it. The Skelenas. The Alta Skelenas I had. That's in America. And in Israel, this Makubal and that Makubal. This Yechiel Kayin and that other, a different Kayin. He bombs these guys, each man on his own. If I had a tzarech for somebody, I called 10 telephone calls. My mother was once sick. And she was bad shape. At that point, I wasn't able to do it. I got one of my nieces to do the job. I gave her all the numbers. Within a half hour, my mother had an improvement. Major improvement. She was an older woman. You call a lot of people, go for it. You know what happened to me what saved me? It wasn't me. It was someone in my family that was holding by Pekuach Nefesh. I had a talk with Dr. Ogen. Dr. Ogen made a reshim on me. He said like this. This Shegitz tells him that this Jewish person came to him with Yena Maisa. And he took a look at the guy. The doctor told him, he says, I took one look at this guy. I showed him all the tests. Guess where you're standing, Bubby? It's over. The guy comes back. Within a month, it's over. The guy comes back 3 months later like nothing happened. Dr. Ogen told this to me. I asked him, what did you do? So he says, I'm Jewish. And I got my name out to all the schools, and there it is. Here I am. Everyone down. Dr. Ogen told this to me. As soon as he told it to me, he made such a reshim on me. Hey, do what he did. I got the name all the way out, and I did my own work, and we had a refuah shalema. Sometimes you need a similar situation. Someone should tell you a similar situation that, hey, let's do the same thing. I once had a maisa. that was mamish, this was negayah to me. I went to Gehenna on earth. There's a Yid in Eretz Yisrael who's a rizik Baal Chesed. He doesn't sleep at night. I lost contact with him. We were once very good friends. And for some odd reason, and I went to Gehenna ready for an operation, you know. We went to the pharmacy and, well, we'll try it. Nothing worked. I don't want to go into what it was. It was terrible. I was going to Shiva Madu Gehenna. And by mistake, I saw his number. I said, no, let's call him up. Call the number. And was macht, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. This guy's up 4 a.m, no problem with him. I says, you know anything about this or that and that? He says, sure, I used to go to Gehenna with that. Yeah, the same thing. So what'd you do? I davened for years. Months, years, I don't remember anymore. But extended. And no zeicher of it. That's all I needed. 2 weeks later, I was cured. And the whole business never came back. Because when you hear somebody who just went through that, and he tells you, go daven, and watch what happens. Now, by the way, before I say anything else, I'm supposed to go next week to Dallas. I'm supposed to go to Dallas. And I'm going to community over there. They invited me to whatever. So now the story's like this. First of all, I don't intend to be here next Thursday. I'll be on a plane next Wednesday. I'm going to be here next Wednesday. And the Monday after that, right? This Monday I'm here. This Sunday, right after Shabbos, I'm here. Normal. This Sunday, I'm here. Next Sunday, it'll be Monday instead, because I'll still be in Dallas. I have a vacation in school, you know, the winter vacation. And I also have, and I plan to be there on Wednesday. Okay. What am I doing in Dallas? Now I'm going to say something. I love to say unpopular stuff. I love it. Then the only one, the Abish is at least, I know, now I got to get schar. I was told by my Rebbe to address this. I am at a campaign, at a war, of not saying things that it's not for you, leave them alone. I suffered. Everybody suffers from a musash who says not for you. By the way, I was in the middle of telling about somebody. We'll get to this in a second. This fellow, his wife is in Yehuppitz and he's there for 6 years. He told me that in Kedusha he's great. He's fine. He works and he's good. So I says, how about working on yourself? And he said, not the guy I gave him a bracha, he got better. I want to bring out something with that story. You ever see a guy that, look the way he watches himself, Palavai. Okay, stop right there. You know the way he talks to his wife? You don't do that. Ever. It doesn't mean you should learn from the guy, but envy is ignorance. There's another side to that guy. Now here comes another guy. Here's a guy. Look at the way he talks to his Edelkeit, the way he raises his kids. And look at me. It's terrible. Okay, I'm very happy. You ever see the way the guy learns? And the way you learn? The way you open a Gemara and keep a Seder? The way he could barely, he's with his ADHDs flying all over the place? People go around with envy and avar. They taught this to me. Everybody's got a serious issue that you don't know about. And the Yetro is going to make sure you see where he's good and you're not good. It happens all the time. You are dafka going to be exposed to his. You know, I knew someone like this. He's a beautiful, jolly family. He used to talk about, you know, the father used to have tinus, on his son, that his son was too jumpy, and he's so ruig and so. And they used to talk about other people, and the son used to tell me, his father was European. And the Yitzhar is in Europe too, you know. And I told the son, and I said, all those guys that you guys go, by them, the big thing was a guy that's rude. Because the son was not rude. So son became one of the most productive people you ever met. A tzaddik yesod olam. He's jumpy. That's why. And his father used to kill him. You can't sit straight for a minute. And all they talked about all day was, he's a galas and a mensch, and he's a rig mensch. You know, this guy was matzel nefashis all his life, because he's so jumpy. So this jumpy kid, I'll tell you, there's a mice that happened in Munkach. There was a guy who was kicked out. He was kicked out of Munkach. He was a little bit modern. So they kicked him out of Munkach. He came to the States, and the question was, how did they save all those Munkacher Yidden? The bum who came to the States, he saved them all. I know a few stories like that. The bum. The bum that couldn't learn to save his life. That whole Kehillah, all those chevra, thanks to him, they're all alive today. The bum that had to be sent to America. I know this guy I knew personally. I can tell you privately who it was. I don't want to say it, Rob. The bum. He saved everyone's life. Okay. Now, I know two such stories. In Bells also, there was a guy that they kicked him out. They came to America. And then when everyone was in trouble, he was the man who saved everybody. The guy everyone was looking down on. I witnessed this. I don't want to say details. A big yeshiva. Everybody learned basmad except for one guy. He stood out. He was just not, I don't know. And I had some other things on him. Years went by, and he went into business, and he became big. And the same guys that used to put him into the garbage can came running to him for money. And he was super nice. He never took the karma. He was a nice, sweet guy. And he was the whole yeshiva lived off this. For that kufa, he was the answer to everyone's problems because he helped others. He was a gvir himself. The same guy in the dormitory room used to hang around. This guy doesn't learn. And everybody looked down at him because he was a top yeshiva. He stood out like a sore thumb. The only guy that didn't open a safe the way you're supposed to, busy with his Michigassen. And then I saw this with my own eyes, the way all these big guns came running. Maybe knock on his door. Can we have an appointment? Can I come in? When could I see? And he was nice. He was like, I don't think he hopped how everyone was looking down at him. You know, whatever it was. He was like a sweet type of person. I've seen so much of this. And don't be mavazi yourself. Because one of these days, they're all going to need you. I know a lot of stories of people that used to make chayzik, so-and-so, and now they're all running after him, and he became the big knaka. Okay, now let's get to this. I'm going back to Dallas. Now, I'm going to Dallas. I was invited, a very sweet person, big tzaddik. He's a Rav Day, he's a Chaim Elena. He davened by my minion, and his son-in-law is one of our boys. Now, I plan to go there. Now, I'm going to say something. Get ready to drop a bomb. Everyone, you could leave me if you want. You could say, oh, Mendel, here he goes again. Now, by the way, it said before, the ultimate Novandik used to do things to get criticism. You know that? He used to do things to get criticism. Now, Mi'at Hashem, I plan to do that. The next, what did he do? He did things, you know. He used to daven alone, you know that? And he got messages from Rabbi Yisrael Chanan, what are you doing? And he wrote them back, better than Kiddatay V'Kavod. He had all the help from the Vardik, shtick. He did things to get everyone on his case. Once they came to him, he was in the Beis Abdidus alone. And a girl came for a shidduch, for a bracha. He said, and she was standing outside. And he said, yes, and Bekar Mamish is Vernachosen Bekar Mamish. That's what he said. Avram Yaffin heard the story. He says, that was a prop. He smelled everything. He made, it's a boy. Oh, I'm so sorry. A girl, a boy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I saw Reb Gershon do this. When Reb Gershon, as late he is, when he came to Lakewood, he started crying in front of the whole yeshiva. He started crying. He saw the cover he was getting. He came back to France. The crying disappeared. I saw him, how come? He was crying. Remember, Weinkrantz walked in. They had a parlor meeting in Borough Park. As soon as Weinkrantz walked in, he started screaming in front of all the packed house. And then suddenly, Reb David Schussel and one other person was aiming at that. He didn't talk those days. I see in his eyes, baloney. Reb David, he noticed him. I smell him like the whole thing. And he used to cry, and then when I saw him back they used to wheel him around in his wheelchair. You know, when he wheeled in his wheelchair, you know what he used to do? He used to pick up his feet. You ever see these kids getting a kiddie ride? They pick up their feet all the way up, you know? That's what he used to do. Okay. No. And he used to pick his feet up with a stolz. He sat on his wheelchair with a stolz, like, I'm on a wheelchair, so good. Like he once got up from his wheelchair for a few minutes and he started clicking his heels. You ever see the army men? They click the heels. That's mamish what he was doing. He had the Novandiga spirit. He wasn't going to change. Anyway, what else? Then when he came back to France, you know what he was doing in France? Oi, ich weiß nicht, Tummelt. Du hast mein Schlüsselach? Wie bin ich da? Ich bin in Lakewood? Where am I? I'm in Lakewood? I'm in here? He made a whole chassan of him. He's never losing his mind. And he used to watch him. As soon as he finished his prat, he'd get back to normal and he smiled to himself. Verpackte Welt. Anyway, I'm going to Dallas because the mashgiach of Lakewood Zatzal said that. Now listen to me. They want me to speak. Next, they want me to speak somewhere about B'tachon. And I might be speaking all the way from Dallas. And they might have a hookup. Whatever. But what I want to tell the Yolam is, I have a lot of stories. I'm going to be very nasty. It's disgusting what I'm going to do now. So Rabbi Mendel, my kids, my wife, Mendel, the relationship, Parnasa, Mendel, all the issues are health, Hashem Yerachim. It's all me. I recommend. You're going to have issues because you were born for B'tachon. Shell is, you're going to spend your life getting your Parnasa through B'tachon, or you're going to spend your life building yeshivas through B'tachon. You're going to have B'tachon. Isn't it more glorified when you're doing it for the klal? You're going to be, you know what the Alvin Kelm says? You take your pick. Either you're going to be knocking on doors, either way. Either because Nebuch you, or because you'll be helping other people. Take your pick. You want to be a giver? Now, Rabbi Aaron Cutler, I know they fled Lakewood. I know Young Gemani went to a different yeshiva because he knew Rabbi Aaron's going to send them right out. After 5 years, I spoke to all the top Talmidim of Rabbi Aaron. That was a shita. No one's going to tell me different. The mashkiach. Now, I didn't go along with this, so I'm guilty. But Reb Shneya, Reb Nosson, Reb Hida Jacobs, they used to scream, guys, get out! Go for Klal Yisrael. Now, I'm going to tell you, I saw a younger man who I knew him in Lakewood, and I saw him in a different out-of-town place. I didn't recognize the guy. A different bria. The happiest person you ever met. And people were coming to him for their issues because he's needed in the city. Now I'm going to tell you another mice. This mice is half of a fellow. I'm going to tell you a true story about a family that has a chinuch. Now, why is it nasty to say this? Because if you don't have the chinuch for it, it's not fair to tell a guy, go out. No one's doing it. There are plenty of people doing it. I interviewed the Lakewood guys who left. They told me it changed. It's the best thing they ever did. Reb Nosson used to beg me, get that rice! Reb Shneur. I thought there was something wrong with Reb Shneur. And maybe he's off the derech, there's something wrong with me. Now we're going to tell you. I'll tell you, Maisa, it's kedai to hear this story. Reb Aaron, 1,000,000,000%. I checked this through and through and through. I'll give you all the names. They're not even makbid. They're there with the Meir Hirschkowitz. I spoke to them. I spoke to Hirschman. That was the matzah. After 5-6 years, that's a lashon. Anyway, now all the guys, what they're doing is Kodesh Kedoshim. I hope whoever's staying here is doing the right thing. Nothing wrong. Stay where you are. Don't worry. No one's doing. What do you? I stay too. I'm gonna bafal myself. I'm gonna be makati. But I just want to be ma'adir because I know there's about 3-4 people that are gonna go out because of what I'm saying. But me, that's enough. I know. I have a few chevra already going out. They needed that push, and they're going. And Klal Yisrael is begging, help us! We don't know Shabbos, we don't know Yom Tov. Well, now to real the truth, this don't tell anybody. The real reason why I'm so into this is I can't get to school on time. Because that's the real reason why I'm so into this. What are you guys living on? You have to be in Lakewood? You say, of course, you're crazy. You have to be in Lakewood. Anyway. But I'll tell you one mice. It's kedai to hit a mice. Because chinuch, it all has to do with the way you've been brainwashed. How come people are sitting and learning? What are you learning for? A girl will not dream of marrying a bacha after 2 years you're going out. He's not for me. 5 years? B'diavad. You ever speak to these girls? Now, women are more practical than men. They at least have their feet on the ground. A man is supposed to be a little crazy, especially a yeshiva bacha. What does he know? But a woman, it's going to fall on, what do you do? These Beis Yaakov girls, they're all brainwashed. A lot of girls aren't married for that reason because, I know, a long term, no. Maybe 20 years, okay, the diavad, 20 years learning, that's where they are. Now, how do you do that? Is it al pi teva? It's simple. You get a chinuch, and you get brainwashed, they're all doing it, you'll do it too, and it'll work. Now, if you had a chinuch, Chavetz Chaim Olam, as soon as they get married, they go out after 5 years. They have the exact same sheet as Novandik in this area. Bachal, they're very similar to Novandik. Slobodka and Novandik got along very well, especially in Zika Rab, exact same sheet. Breaking meters, same thing. As soon as they get married, they brainwashing me going out, and if they don't, the guy's never going to go anywhere. It has to do with your mentality. But here comes a story. Kedai to hear it. I heard it from the horse's mouth. I heard it from a woman who had to die. I didn't mean anything. I didn't mean anything. So, this is the story. Very fine lady. And I never met her, but from the phone, I know her husband. And her husband, listen to this. Her daughter became engaged. And it was a beautiful, everyone's excited. I think an older girl, whatever. Oh, got 8 in that time. Suddenly, he gets an emergency phone call. One of the people who was Makarev was in a skiing accident in Binghamton, somewhere up in New York. Rochester, one of these places that's freezing with snow, whatever, one of those, all the way up there. And he got the message. There's Bachel, he was Makarev, the whole family is in a coma. And they say it's Shem Yirach. He dropped the whole Vart, his own daughter's Vart. He got into a car and went flying all the way to Binghamton, or wherever. He comes in, he sees the kid, he's all bandaged up, there's nobody home, he's not responding, nothing. The father comes in, tells the father, come here for a minute. Tells the father, put on these tefillin. He never put on tefillin in his life. As soon as the father put on tefillin, the kid woke up and he lived happily ever after. I heard this from the mother. Now, the kid, the family is overjoyed that look at Tati. They respect them. They were raised to give themselves away for others. They respect it. It's a mentality. Give away. Now, what I do personally, they're proud of him. She'll talk about it forever. You know, my father did it, my Bart. He went to help people all the way over there. She's proud of it. But when people live on top of each other, well, you have to be mechazik each other. You have to be the relatives. It's not right. You're not, you know, Rabbi Miller, between you and me. Now, I don't want to start up with relatives. But I'm just the guy that loves going to family chasanas. Ask all my relatives. I'm on the chairs. I love family chasanas, and I hold from it. They need chizuk. You gotta be mechazik each other. But I would much rather be in a society where you want to be mechazik yourself, go out and help others. It help. You know, people come crying to me. They never had love when they were kids. A lot of people out there with that complaint. And I say, you're a warm person. You need that. You want to make up for it? Give others love. You watch. It tastes much better than getting love. You're going to wait till Mashiach. I promise you, I heard this from an 80-year-old Rebbitzin, big tzaddikus, a big name also. She told it to me. When I was a child, Gandik, Nebuch, whatever. She's 80. She's an Elta Baba. And she's still kvetching that she didn't get enough love. I heard it from a hush of a person. I'm not making away with her. But you want to make up for that? Give love! It's so much more fun when you're given. Now, I personally do. It keeps me. My family respects me. Tati, what do I do? Erev Yom Tov, Erev Pesach, Erev Sukkot. I'm collecting. By the way, anybody have any money for me? I'm joking. Collecting for Kiat Sefer. I sent thousands of dollars. They sent me a nice plaque. All right, I'll live without it. And my son feels good. He's the gabbai. And he says, you know how they feel that it's for that? Or b'chlal? Atta-way, you're the best. You know, your kind of money's going on lately. I daven. You know, you feel your family looks at you when you got to stress, got to take care of so-and-so needs money. And I started this as a prat because collecting money, you know, the Panav Zerab himself said, you know, it's not fun. You have to break your eyebrow. They said like this. I'll see them say, in one pocket you take money, in the other pocket you take mezenius. You get used to it. If anybody needs help, I took a bacher who was the quietest bacher that ever lived. He couldn't open his mouth. And I made him stand in a big place and collect. Make $50. I don't get singles. It changed his whole life. You start now. He can collect more slowly. Break the pachat from people. Break it. Start slow. I used to go around to make $100 every Rosh Hashanah. That's all I made. Now it's in thousands, but it wasn't easy. First, start in yeshiva and go and you get someone to help you. What's a shlech? Collecting money. The Rambam says you take a pick. You want Simchas Yom Tov or Simchas Kreisai. If you're going to have a happy holiday and there's people in Kiryat Sefer who literally don't have meat for Yom Tov. You know that? They don't. Seriously. It's not only Kiryat Sefer, Yerushalayim. I'll show you plenty of them. No meat this Yom Tov. There are Yungalite in Kiryat Sefer who skip lunch on a regular basis because there's no food. Large families. There's a kid, my daughter-in-law's, she collects a lot, brother. She has a play group. One of the kids, they didn't have the next shoe size. They couldn't afford it. So they had to cut the shoe. So the foot shouldn't, get patchkit. Because they couldn't afford the next size. She saw this in her own eyes. A kid that comes to a clay. Americans! Who are in Eretz Yisrael, are leaguing and learning the Asmod and Kiryat Sefer. Everything. There's a Meister of Chaim Kanevsky he was sitting. He was a Sandik in Kiryat Sefer. And suddenly he looks up, he sees a fence. It's the Arabs are right there. He said, what? You need a fence in Kiryat Sefer? He said, you're surrounded with thousands of blood to Gemara. Kiryat Sefer needs a fence. No, it's the Arabs there. Oh, that barig them. Stells a fa. So imagine, I speak like this. I tell people, give money and they feel. Don't be afraid of Gvirim. Break that the Gvirim business. It's just the murder. I just got a call. A guy gave me $4,000. Lately, there's ashbos coming from Shemayim. I told her, I have 2 Kiryat Sefer. I have 2 Bטחון weeklies. I have my own. It cost me $1,000 about a week. And there's the bigger ones. And the bigger ones, I don't want to patchke with them. I keep telling me, no. And they give, no, yes. So, I davened a lot. And right after I davened, within 2 days, got a phone call and give me $4,000. And I gave it to them. They're my best friends. Now another guy calls me up. I davened, I want to be pata. I'm giving you $300 every month. I got another guy giving $300. I give it all to those guys. I just became pata. Now all I have to focus is on my own. But anyway, I talk only to Hashem. I get whatever. What? The small ones, I still foot the bill. But it's kleiner kite already. Now I owe $600. That's a joke. And this other thing, they need about 800, 1,000 a week. They're getting it themselves. I got 2. Thank you so much. I got 2. I have 2 people giving $300 a month regularly. And then I got this 4,000 to pay up. Whatever. We're friends already. It's over. And then I have a guy in New York that gives out the Lashon Kodesh one. When we first started, he was calling me up. There's no money. I said, Eibishter, I don't want to be bothered with these guys. Within 2 weeks, they never bothered me again. The guy who makes it in New York, beautiful job, he gives out 8,000 alonim. He goes to Israel all over. He has a Lashon Kodesh. He throws in a lot of Yiddish. There's another guy who makes Eretz Yisrael. He never asked me for a penny. I just give him brachas. And brachas are working. I just got $1,400 for a bracha. Again, I don't even remember the bracha. Lady calls me up. Rabbi Mendel, your bracha worked. Wow, I remember. A 24-year-old Swedish bracha. That's came a chassan right after. No. I get brachas. I tell you, I don't even remember what I gave. My brachas are not stuff. Anyway, I have somebody who's going through Sheva. This is a true story. This guy going Sheva Maduri Gehenna with his father. He also has a birth defect. He has a defect, and he's in Shidduchim, and he's all crazy nervous. And suddenly something grew over there, and it looks horrible. And he says, "Now I'm never going to get married." And he went through Gehenna already with broken engagements. He's got a history, this guy. And he called me up, and he says, "Look, from now on, don't call me up. I don't have time. Just leave a message with the name and the issue, and I'll take care of you." So his wart is oversized, and his father, whom he hated since the day he's born, is killing him because he's not married yet, and because of that. So he told me this on the phone. You want to hear it? Anyway, the guy, I says, okay. I says, Abel said, take care of that wart, and take care of the father. I promise you. I was just a few days ago that I was called about this. It was a little embarrassing when I just got the message. Mendel, I don't know what you did. The warts disappeared, and my father suddenly acting nice. I promise you, this is today's latest. My father's acting nice. I'm not a complicated guy. I tell Eibishter, make shalabayis. Boom. I don't, people, if you go and say, well, there's a lot going on here. Well, if you say there's a lot going on, you're going to be busy till Mashiach. Well, I believe Beshita, Tamimus. Don't get complicated. Eibishter, get shalabayis. Tia yida toiva. And if things are bad, I'll mention, the covered issue, and then Eibishter muftachli. What's his name? Rebel Yalapid. Reb Chatzkel said, Kavel Hashem, Chazak B'Nevzim, Mekavel Hashem. If you have b'tachon once, it doesn't work, have it again, and you muftach. So, that's Gavaldi. I have my own thing. If you had b'tachon, didn't work, say, it's covered, then you muftach. It's covered. It's covered. They're going to look at me. Oh, yeah. The Eibishter gives me what I want. And I schmooze around with the Eibishter, I have a ball. The Eibishter helps them. Everyone should be Zeicher, the Gula Shleima, because of Mamish. And